I'm just gonna record because I don't wait. So this video is about why does coaches and consultants as a business model make total sense. All right. So I want to dive into the macro and microeconomic perspective of the coaching and consulting business. All right. When I say coaching and consulting, I'm talking about personal coaching, consulting in any format or any way. That could be like a one-on-one coaching. It could be either in fitness, it could be business coaching, it could be personality development, it could be communications, it could be anything. It could be someone teaching someone something, all right, on a one-on-one basis, on a one and multiple other bases, or whether it's one and like way too many, like infinite number bases, wherein it's like a course that you watch online. All right. And I feel, sorry, the last thing I would not consider coaching. Sorry, courses are not coaching. All right, coaching is different. Coaching is personal. All right, coaching is personal accountability in action. It is um, energy being transferred and transmuted, from one person to another. It's a lot of variables and attributes involved. It's tone of voice, it's body language, it's knowledge, it's communication. It's communication but tailored for you to understand it in your format, in your way, in the way that you understand it best, right? It's accessibility, it's accountability. I think I already said that, but a bunch of things packaged in the coaching and consulting format and business. And the reason why I think this business model, or why this exists and why this business will continue to exist, is simply if we go back into the facts and program of how human beings currently live and react to the environment that they're living in, we can find out that human beings, at a certain level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, human beings lack accountability. Human beings' context is limited to a certain extent. The human being's context is limited to a certain extent depending on the subject and field that they are actively looking to get better at or are in. All right. Human beings get confused. Human beings sometimes require accountability. Human beings sometimes lack knowledge and sometimes don't have the context bandwidth because they're so busy with A, they might not get a chance to work on B, and hence there's a reason. These are small 1% reasons that I'm trying to pull out. All right, another fact. Sorry, human beings don't necessarily have the knowledge or the way of doing and being when you're trying to achieve a certain goal, or try to learn a particular subject or do something in a certain way. Technique, we can call that technique, like doing something in a certain way, right? May lack that, right? And much more. And I feel coaches and consultants, someone who positions themselves and has an offer to help you achieve X in X amount of days, or helps you. I help you solve X problem. I help solve X problem for Y type of people, or I help solve X problem for Y type of people in Z amount of time. Right? I think we can call those offers, but I think that's the baseline for a lot of things, right? And I feel that anyone that is trying to coach someone or consult someone can use that formula, and I think that's very understood by this point of time. By if you're someone who has used the internet and has been exposed to social media marketing and reels, and you probably come across someone trying to sell you information and knowledge online, and they start with selling you a course, or sorry, they started selling you a webinar. That webinar may upsell you into a course. That course may upsell you into a group class, and that group class or that cohort might upsell you into a one-on-one personal session, right? And I think that is the roadmap or waterfall of their business model. But putting that aside, keeping that aside, I think the reason why that works, and that's the reason why I'm making this video, the reason why that works is because everyone has problems on a different scale and a different level. Also, people have different amount of spending power, right? And people have different amounts of time and patience, right? And hence these offers at these different levels, or these offerings, or these services at these different levels or layers make sense, right? Because if you're someone who's very new to something, you just want to fill your curiosity, you might just go for the webinar. All right, if that webinar gave you that information and it made you feel that, okay, fuck, I need to know this even more in order to solve my problem, or to just fulfill my curiosity, or to basically solve for X, you may buy the course, right? Which is structured information, and human beings love structured information, especially when it comes from someone who is credible, coming from someone who is articulate and understands what the fuck they are doing, and has now taken all those years and learnings and now packaged it into consumable packets of knowledge and information, right? Making it easier for you to learn, making you understand. They understand how your brain learns that particular stuff and has packaged in that particular way. So that makes sense for them to sell you a course, and makes sense for you to buy that course, because maybe you find it easier rather than you searching the web and trying to find different things. I'm not saying you can't probably search that information on the internet and get that knowledge. I'm pretty sure you can, but sometimes people don't have the time or the patience to do that, right? And they just would just rather buy the freaking course and like save their time and their effort into finding packets of information, rather than being twisty turned and like getting lost in the source of information overload, right? So those are some reasons of why people buy organized. Okay, side questing into the side layering into a current conversation. We've always been buying organized information as human beings. We've always purchased things that help us stay organized. Think about that for a moment. As human beings, we always want things that either keep us organized, organize the stuff, can organize things. We buy organized pieces of information. Human beings, at least not all human beings, but at least a certain percentage of human beings love buying information and knowledge, right? And if you went to a school and you paid for school and tuition, then you bought information and knowledge. All right, but obviously you bought also community and social circle, whatever. But I'm not getting into that. My point is that we buy organized piece of information online. Now, coming back to our current format of a current line of discussion, which is why people buy, why coaches and consultants exist, and what are the micro and macroeconomics of this particular business, is that microeconomic wise, this is the facts, all right, or at least my opinions, all right, because this is what I feel, and maybe I have researched a few things and I may be wrong in certain aspects, all right? So feel free to correct me down in the comments below, because it's been a while since I made this type of a video. But so now that we know why people buy things and what type of things human beings have been buying, so on a macroeconomic perspective, on the buyer side, right, human beings want to increase their standard of living. We love solving our problems. We are always constantly trying to achieve more. We're trying to get more from life. We're always trying to increase our salary. We're always trying to make more money. We're always trying to get even more healthier. And that is just the true nature of how we are as a society and human beings. We always want more. We are never satisfied with this. Once we achieve this, we want to get this. Once we achieve that, we want to get more, right? And that is just the true nature of human beings, right? And some people have cracked it. Some people have figured out how to stay content and not necessarily happy. Content is like content. I don't know how to explain it, because I'm obviously not a monk. I'm obviously not someone who has fucking found the way of life and shit like that. I'm just a normal human being, just like you, watching this video.